Hey folks, so today's video, what's it all about? Well, last video I did, this one here, I had sculpted this little fellow together and I really enjoyed it. And I said that I'm going to do more. And a lot of times when I say that, I tend to not do more. And this time I said, no, you're going to do more. Because I really did enjoy it. And I thought to myself, I think I'd like to create a few of these. Because I've been drawing and painting and stuff like that, but this is kind of like sculpting and painting and drawing all together, and that's what made it fun. So I did it bit by bit there, so you can sit down and figure it out for yourself. Maybe do it yourself too, because that'd be a lot of fun. And yeah, sit back and have a good time with it. Please, if you don't mind, do the old like. Also subscribe if you'd like. And also the bell for notification if you need to make sure you get to see us every time I do a video. So, let's watch the video. And a lot of times my ADDH and THT or 357 kicks in and I suddenly forget what I was doing and I start something new. But this time I said to myself, I am going to actually do another of my little foam sculptures. And this time I decided to do a fish. So I drew out a fish, right? Made it pretty simple, nothing too elaborate. And then I'm grabbing some tools and I'll probably do some indentations or even with just drawing with a marker to give me a guideline. Now, when it comes to cutting it out, there's many ways you can do it. I have a foam cutter, I can do it that way. You can do it with just a simple X-Acto knife, right? Cutting, right? And the nice thing about the Styrofoam is if you do it with the X-Acto knife, you follow along, you make your cut, right? And simply go right off. That's what I do. I'll go straight off because you can't get every piece, right? If you try to do every piece, as you turn, you'll find sometimes the Styrofoam cut sort of starts breaking in different little areas. So you do this, right? And then, with a bit of pressure, you should be able, yeah, see, look. Bang, clean, nice cut. Sorry about the noise, but there you are, a nice little clean cut, and you can just go around. But again, like I said, I have a wire cutter. I can use that if I want. You can dig into it a little bit. I've done that before. I've used the Dremel just to Dremel it all down, because I don't want to take the background out. But this time I'm going to actually take the background out. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make cuts like this, right, and make sure that they're nice and clean and follow through. And that's the thing, following through will help you the best part on being able to cut it and get it the way you want. So there you are, nice little quick way of doing it, and it doesn't take a lot of work. I'm going to pop this one, so this one you're not going to get to hear, so it won't scare you. Well, I just did that and thought it was all on time lapse where you could see me cutting it all out, and I've just come to the realization that I did not do that. So imagine this was going really, really fast and all the pieces are getting cut out like this, and then I wound up with this. I just wanted to show you, I was just doing it with an X-Acto knife, something really simple. Yes, again, I could have used the hot wire, but I don't really want to get smelly, smoky, stinky stuff going on. But if I wanted to make it really detailed, I might want to do that simply because with that I can kind of cut in and make little curves and that. And my only weak spot is right here. And even when I go to do more, I can actually make that stronger simply by, if I decided to cut again the shape, right, and then make my fins the background, which kind of sounds actually okay to me, so I might actually do that. So there you are. And now literally what it is a matter of shaping, getting it to where I like it to look, and then deciding as to how much detail I want to put into it. So I thought about that idea of actually adding more foam here, and then it'll go to here, and then the fins will be the background in a sense, and then maybe even the head. And I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do here, because this is fairly thick foam. I really didn't want it to become that much. But then I realized I did actually have thinner foam, which I have here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually add that onto here, and to show you how that's going to do. I thought I had a little idea here. Because I thought to myself, well, now I got to figure out how to cut this out. And my little brain started working, and I got an idea. I don't know if this will work, but let's see if it does, because if it does, it's pretty cool. All right, so I got some paint. I thought to myself, okay, I got to cut this out and make sure it's, you know, right, and make sure it's all the right size and everything. And I thought to myself, well, how am I going to do that? If I'm going to do that real quick and fast, well, guess what? Go like this, right? Take my paint. Mush it all around, right? And you don't care, like you could use anything that will stain, right? And I'm talking like real fast, right? And I actually put a little more paint on than I really needed. But, watch this. I then take my styrofoam piece, knock a whole bunch of stuff over, but guess what? I just made a perfect print line. There you are. So there, I can now take and know that all I'm going to do is cut out this. And oh yeah, I see that, well, little bit of work there, on there. But this is now perfect. Oh, I think it's upside down. That's right too. So that's the belly there. That's the back here. Now that should work. Hopefully that works. When I cut it out, it'll be perfect. I hope I'm a brilliant person, but I'm probably not. But that's okay. I gave it my best try. Alright guys, look, it actually worked. Now, the only thing I kind of goofed up on was I was thinking that would be the nice flat side, and then I could just hit that with some sandpaper. But I've already got this. I had this for some other piece that I was working on that didn't work out, and so I wound up scratching. But if I take some sandpaper and that, I should be able to scrape most of that down, so I'll still be able to get a nice image. But there you are. I've got my set out for me, and then I know that I can put the eye right here. That's not a big issue, right? Boom, we got an eye right there. Look at that, the print in there, a little heavy. Push, push, push. I got an eye. So now, when I officially get started, I can actually glue that, right? Let that paint dry off of it. Glue it, and then get started back on this again. Then start sanding and shaping. Okay, so right now I have some sanding to do. Now, when you are doing the sanding, make sure you wear a mask, because it is the safest thing to do. There's a lot of little stuff that can come off of here. The other thing too is that once I've finished sanding, what I like to do is to finish it off, I actually take masking tape or even like painter's tape or whatever, and I'm going to go all around the edging like that. And you'll see here I've got that already done. And then if there's any left over there, I trim that off. But I have it all done that way, and then when I go to paint, it all becomes one piece. I like it that way. Okay, so there we are on that aspect of it. And now I'm just going to do some sanding, so we'll just see how that goes. Well, this is kind of interesting. You know when you buy a set of tools and you get all the different pieces and that? Well, you get this piece all the time. And I really have never had a use for it until today. You can actually get in with the crevices, and it actually works quite nice. And that, so yeah, when you get that little bit of extra fuzz in the middle in there that you want to try to get that out, it's right there. You can actually take this and actually clean out those sections. So guess what? It actually does have a purpose. Somebody actually made this and thought that, you know, oh, there's got to be a purpose for it. Well, they were right. You just need to kind of brushing teeth or something, you know? You just have to kind of get in there. Yeah, look at that. See? Wouldn't have been able to get in there, and yeah, that's leaving it open, and I'll be able to get the tape in there, and that'll be working out perfect. So, there you are. That tool finally does have a purpose. So I've finished. Got my vacuum here, so I'm going to vacuum up any of the remaining stuff and that. And then I'll get taping, and then I will get into painting. when you're taping, there might be something you might come across that you don't like, and that is trying to overlap. So I'm going off only onto the side, and I don't want the front part to actually have tape on it. But say I want to put a nice round edge like that on, well, what I can do there is once I've got that done, the nice part here is you just take the old X-Acto knife and run along. You don't have to go deep, right? But you just run along like that. And boom, there you are. That's going to come off, right? Well, it will. But look, comes off nice and clean, right? And you've still got everything nicely exposed the way you want it. Another thing too is if you get wrinkles on the side, and you know it's like just a little wrinkle, it's not too big of a wrinkle, guess what? You know, sandpaper, give it a good hard rub, it'll smooth that out. I mean, you might take a little bit, but you'll get a fairly smooth piece. And remember, it's the visuals this way, not so much this way, but you still want it to be nice and clean looking, right? So there you are. There's just something to be aware of. So now I'm going to actually texture the fish. Now, you'll notice that, like I said, this is old used styrofoam, but instead of just throwing it out, I decided that I could actually do something with it. So what I'm going to do is I've got this ball stylist here, and I am literally just going to dig into this. And then hopefully this will give me some kind of texture that I can play around with so that I can add my scales. Now, this is where I have been kind of thinking, do I need to go very complicated with this, or am I going to make it simple? Because I've got to do scales, right? So as I say, I'm just pushing down so I have a texture so that if I do another like layer of scratching in that, you probably won't see those lines as badly, and you know, I can already feel them smooth. Again, I could also hit it with sanding again, right? So I'm getting it to smooth out so that I can actually make some kind of pattern, right? And then you can see even there I've got a little bit of a pattern going that I could consider fish scales. But again, I like to try to make it, you know, a little bit more detailed, a little bit more fun with it. Now I've got another tool here. Well, no, I call it a paintbrush. And to do like the fins. Yeah, see, now I don't like that because that actually goes there. So what I'll do there is literally sand that out a little bit. Didn't like that. Go back to the ball stylist and see how that works. And that's not really enough detail for me, so I gotta find something else. Oh, here's a pen sitting here. Yes, I know you're supposed to use the correct tools, but if I do this and I scratch in enough, I think I got some lines going here that I do like. And it's funny, when you actually go to paint that, you're going to get a very different look, right? Because we're going to paint this whole thing black, I think. Yeah, and I need to clean that up a little bit. And again, I probably could have used a much better tool, and I didn't. Because sometimes I go with what's at my fingertips, and that's not always the best idea. Because then you learn that, you know what, use the proper tools, you're probably going to get the proper look that you want. But I like to fight myself tooth and nail all my life. So I finally said to myself, why fight my own demon a little bit here when I'm doing stuff like this? Because I'll probably do it again the same way. But I'm getting the texture I like. Yeah, I'm liking the way the eye's going to look. As I said, if I decide I'm going to make scales, I can do that, right? Look at that. I got scales going. I got scales. They're multiplying. It's death defying. And there's the squeaking. But I also like thing too is that when I do something like this, kind of like that idea that it looks a little bit like, yeah, this was like handmade, you know, so not something that was, you know, cut out with a press or anything like that. So when people look at it, they're like, oh yeah, you know what, that's cool, I like it, bright colors, whatever it is, and it still has a quality of being a little bit, I don't know, rustic maybe? Is that the word I'm looking for? Anyways, I'm happy with what I've got here. Now I'm going to hit it with some paint. I got some good old acrylic paint here. I'm going to hit it with that, and then I will hit it with my Mod after with a matte, and then I'm going to start adding my colors. So there we are. So you can watch me paint it black right now. So now I think it's time for some color. So let's see what happens. Alright guys, it looks like it's time to do some coloring. So I got my markers out, I've done some base painting here and that, and I'm going to hit it with some markers, so let's watch how that goes. Alright there guys, it looks like I am finished. I've done my little signature on the side there, and I'm happy with what I did. Yeah, I think it looks nice, bright colors, it's got a nice folksy look about it, and everything about it, so there you are. I am happy to say I have a nice fishy to put up behind me. So, there you are. I have finished my little sculpture, which was a fish. Right, and I gotta be honest with you, I'm quite happy with him, right? Look at him, oh, he's beautiful, right? He's just swimming by, having a great time, right? But if you look at the other side, it's just styrofoam, that's it. But it looks more like a wood sculpture, doesn't it? Yeah. And the thing was, too, I could even actually use pieces that I'd already had, that already had imprinted on it, and that, and just worked on top of it, and it didn't matter. It turned out beautiful. I'm happy, very happy. And the thing is, as I said, it's light, so it's easy to work with, durable, right? The only thing I haven't done is I didn't hodgepodge it to put a glaze on it, which I will do after. But just to give you an idea how easy it is to deal with, check this out. I'm hoping that I can do this in one shot. But there you are. I now have it mounted with a bit of Velcro. Ta-da! It's gonna fall off. No, I just didn't really push it very hard. But even on that little bit, it's staying on there. And this guy's actually just Velcroed on too. So there you are. You get a nice piece of work, bright colors. It's, like I said, so light that you can just stick it on the wall with a bit of Velcro. That's amazing, right? And yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it doesn't take a lot of work, you know? A bit of sanding, a little bit of, painting, a little bit of sculpting, the whole thing. But it all came together. And look at that little guy. He looks great up there. Yeah. So, anyways, just like I always say, be cool like a big bull moose. And remember to wear your pants.